because, charisma just has a huge impact from a founder standpoint. And I see so many businesses that stumble because they don't have that charismatic leader that needs to be the front man.
Mm-hmm. Well, that brings up a really good point. So I'll push this on to you guys, but I've been doing a ton of research in Sinek, if you guys follow or listen to Sinek. Yeah. One of the things that he talked about recently on LinkedIn was the difference between a CEO and a CVO. And he basically says, hey, look, I don't like CEOs. I like CVO. And the problem with, most likely the CEO is really the visionary of the company. It's not their job to understand how to do all the algorithms or all the software or all the coding, or they don't need, the CEO doesn't need to know how to do your, balance the books and all that stuff. But they need to be able to see the future and see the future of the company and how to get it there. And that's why he says, I don't like the term CEO, because when you are using the term CEO, executive officer versus visionary officer, when that CEO steps down, it's time's up, resigns, something, God forbid, should happen to them, they pass away, whatever, the typical next step is the COO would step in. But then unfortunately, look at Apple, look at Steve Jobs, mm-hmm. look at these big companies and how they really went downhill after their visionary officer, not let's take away the CEO and put CVO, went away, because now you put someone who's more analytic in a position where they can't necessarily see the future. They could see what's in front of them. And not to mention, they're really good at that, right? Like, they're extremely good at their job, but that's not going to take them over the mountain when they have to get over that mountain when the CEO is now stepped down or, retired or passed away.
You look at someone like Steve Jobs, and then Tim Cook comes in. What has Apple released that's been super innovative? AirPods would probably be the number one thing, but Tim Cook's just a great executioner, and he can execute, and he runs a super solid business. But in terms of pushing the innovation envelope, Apple hasn't really done a whole lot that we've seen yet.
Yeah, I think it's Apple's definitely slowed down.
I disagree with that statement, but
well,
yeah, but all that stuff's already out there. What new book of business?
Look, and I'm using an Apple computer. I have an Apple.
And how old is that Apple computer?
It's older. It works very well. Is that what you're getting at?
So that's my point. What innovative thing has come out that said, man, I need to get this new laptop? What Scott was just talking about, I need the new camcorder. So if it's a 10-year-old laptop that's still doing this job, then something innovative enough hasn't come out to push you to make.
Or it's doing a good job.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think Apple actually is that innovative of a company in certain things, because oftentimes they do things that are a little bit lower level. I'm going to get a lot of Apple haters for this. They don't always have the most innovative.
No, you're going to get a lot of Apple haters that like this.
They are if you compare a lot of stuff between Apple and their competitors, oftentimes the competitor has a more powerful thing, but the Apple thing is a better experience, I guess, in a lot of that. And so, I don't know, what's the most innovative thing that Apple ever did? What would you say?
I would say the iPod. When they came out,
the first thing who did that, MP3 players were out there.
Yeah, but they did it in a way where it just made sense. They were able to connect their own music platform to the iPod.
So the software and hardware together is something, the innovation piece in there.
Yeah.
Tim, what would you say?
No, I would agree. I think that the iPod changed everything, and then the most innovative thing since then would be the iPad, and that was the last thing that Steve Jobs worked on before he passed away.
Yeah, and since then, if you look at it on a timeline, right, or and you look at all the innovations that they came out with, it's relatively a short period of time while Steve Jobs was around, but then since Tim came in, it's slowed down. It's like everything's kind of rolling out a little bit slower, and I think and I'm not I didn't know Steve. I don't know Tim. Hey guys, if you're watching this, I'd love to chat with you. But there's all those rumors where Steve was really hard to work with. and Tim's a little bit easier to work with. So, I mean, it comes into question, like, what's his passion? Tim may have more of a passion for people than he does product.
Don't you think that the most innovative thing that Steve Jobs did was actually just say this is 1,000 songs in his pocket, and that hooked so many people because it did it? I mean, look, and I buy like almost exclusively Apple products, so like I clearly like use them, but
as do I.
Right, I just don't like. I don't look at them as being like the most monumental thing. I think it's just the ease of use in that it is nice, and maybe that's the innovation.
Well, and to your point that you were just saying, Zach, you were saying, well, look at Apple's revenues continue to go up, and that's exactly my point. So Tim's focused on the operations side, where it's such a sticky product, and once you're in that Apple ecosystem, you can't get out. So I mean, I have the Apple Watch, I have the AirPods, I have the Mac Mini, an iPad. I mean, however many Apple TVs. I mean, you're in the ecosystem and you're in it forever. So from a stockholder standpoint, it's great because you're in it and you're just continuing to give them money. But
yeah. Like recently, I just found out, and you guys can call me out on how behind in the times I am, but I just found out that you can mirror your laptop to your iPad and make it a second screen. And I'm sitting there going like, dang, I've had this iPad in my backpack this whole entire time. I rarely use my iPad. I was like, very little applications for it now between my phone and my laptop. But now all of a sudden I can use it as a dual screen. And I'm sitting there going, and that one little feature brings back the use of the iPad.
Someone who's been directly involved within the startup community for almost a decade, I want to talk to you about a serious pain point. Spending a ton of time trying to understand the business landscape in the 757. That's time that should be focused on growing the business. At Startwheel, we're here to help you by compiling all of the news you need to know about in one place. Now there's no need to search multiple websites. Just head to startwheel.org and see for yourself. That's startwheel.org.